Chairman, I'd like to introduce Chris Schacht.
Mr. Schacht.
Mr. Chairman, my remarks will be for all directors, so I don't speak 3 times. We're all getting hungry, apparently. As far as the election of the board, I made it clear I think there should be a new board. At the very least, I'd say to you, Phil, and I presume you've got the proxy vote, you'll be re-elected, you've indicated that, fine. But if we come back in a year's time and there's not significant further change to the board, I think a lot of us will be disappointed. You cannot escape responsibility for what the board cannot escape responsibility for what's happened. So I would indicate I'll vote for Catherine Fagg because I don't think she can be blamed as only joining the board in the last week. On your case and the others, on the basis that you've nodded your head about further discussion, I will abstain on your position. And goodness me,
Mr. Mackay.
Mr. Mackay. So I do notice someone said the Scots are doing very well on this board. I presume you're all Scottish nationalists and against Boris and the gang over there. Anyway, that's aside. So I just say that. I also want to take this to save time. On the next 2 resolutions that the people have put up, I will vote for them only because they're advisory only. And I don't think there's any harm that once a year, for an extra hour, retail shareholders can come and sit here for a part of the day to debate that. It's advisory only. And the comment to those who want to, and they did this last week, I don't agree that the bank should be individually held accountable for in carrying out climate change policy. I don't think that's fair on particular banks. As you say, if you don't knock off that company or this, you're not doing a job, etc. on climate change. What we should, and I ask the bank to look at this, the real policy change is to have if you're into climate change issues, and I overwhelmingly am, have a carbon tax and an emission trading scheme. If that operated in Australia, you would not have any need for the bank to consider knocking off an application for a loan, because that regime would mean those who want to burn more thermal coal, would not even apply because the emissions trading scheme would make it uneconomic. That's the way it should operate, not calling on an individual bank or institution to carry out the climate change policy that should be a national policy. And I hope one day, Mr. Chairman, in the next 12 months, you might actually say you're in favour, even though it's controversial for some people, and certainly an emissions trading scheme with a carbon tax. With that, I'll shut up.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Schacht.